top shelf.
Hello and welcome to Top Shelf Board Games. I'm Hubba.
And I'm Sabrina.
And today we're reviewing The Ancient World. The Ancient World is a worker placement game with a twist. And so let's get into it. Let's talk about how it works. So like most worker placement games, you're placing workers out onto the board to do different actions, to get different resources. The object of this game is it's worker placement with set collection. So the object is to collect the different cards that have these different colored banners on the top of them. There's 5 different banner colors, and the more you get in each color, the more points you'll score at the end of the game. So the most you can have is 6 of any color, and that'll get you the maximum amount of points in that color. So the object of the game is to acquire those points. You get those points or those banners by purchasing Empire cards. Empire cards grant your city different abilities. They give you different options, different places. So some cards will even let you will give you a worker placement action that only you can take. They also will give you the banners, and they might give you like permanent abilities, like give you extra coins or extra knowledge at the end of every round, which can be really beneficial. Another way to get these banners is to fight the Titans. Fighting the Titans is a big part of the game. The Ancient World is you're fighting these mystical Titans and creatures that are attacking your city, and the more you attack the Titans and you defeat them, the more prestige your city will gain, and the more people will come to your city. So let's go over the worker placement part of the bulk of the turns. Like most worker placements, you got kind of your prepare phase, you get your player actions, and you get the end of round stuff. During the prepare phase of the game, you're going to advance the round track. You're going to discard whatever Empire cards are out on the board, and you'll put new ones out. Depending on how many players there are, you might have 4, 5, or 6 Empire cards out that people can that the players can purchase. Those get refreshed, and then your military cards. They don't get discarded, they just replenish whatever cards were purchased. That's the prepare phase. And then the bulk of the game takes place during the player actions. The things you can do is you can place a citizen, which is place a worker. You can attack a Titan, or you can pass. So let's talk about placing a citizen. There's multiple actions that you can do actually, before we get into the actions, let's talk about the workers themselves. The workers come numbered 1 through 5. You start the game with 1 through 3. So you'll have a worker with a 1 on it, you'll have a worker with a 2, and you'll have a worker with a 3 at the top. This is where the game has a little bit of a twist with worker placement. Mm-hmm. If you place a worker down onto an action, say you place a 1, in order for another player or for you to take that action again, you have to place a worker with a higher number on it. So if I place a 1, the next person has to place a 2 or a 3. If I place a 3 right off the bat, nobody else can go there. It blocks that spot until later on in the game when you can get your worker that has a 4 or your worker that has a 5. So that allows you to block your opponents and be kind of mean as far as that aspect goes. Let's go over the different city actions that you can do. So you have the action where you can go, and it's called the labor action, where you can place a worker there and get $2. Pretty basic action, not much to it. You have your build action, which allows you to purchase an Empire card. When you purchase Empire cards, you can only have so many in your city based on what your city's capacity is. You start with a capacity of 4, so you can have 4 Empire cards, but that can be expanded through buying Empire cards, through defeating Titans. Different cards will let you expand your capacity. So the build action, you can buy an Empire card and add it to your collection. You also then have the draft spot on the board. When you go to the draft spot, you get the dagger symbol, for the entire round. So that'll help you to be able to fight the different Titans and beat them. You also have the expand. So when you expand, you can purchase a district card. District cards they don't count towards your capacity, but they add different abilities that you personally will have. Like, for instance, it might say anytime you defeat a Titan, you get 1 gold, or anytime your opponent to your right defeats a Titan, you get a gold. And so that's...
It can also expand your empire too.
Yeah.
Allow you to expand your empire.
Yeah,
so.
Oftentimes they'll give you capacity like of 3 or a capacity of 4, and so you can add that to your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, the next thing you can do is you can learn. You can go to a space and gain knowledge. This allows you to pay 3 coins and gain 1 knowledge. Knowledge is fairly difficult to get, but that's one of the ways that you can get it.
And knowledge gets you or allows you to buy those higher those higher cards.
Yeah.
So knowledge, I didn't think knowledge was that important, but it actually is really important because you can buy the bigger, powerful cards.
Yeah, some of your military units will require knowledge in order to purchase them. Some of the cards later in the game, you actually start with 2 different decks for your Empire cards. You have your A deck and your B deck. Your B deck comes out halfway through the game and it has really powerful cards, but you got to have knowledge to be able to purchase them. Mm-hmm. So that's one way to get knowledge. Next thing you have is your rebuild action. This allows you to buildings that have been destroyed can be rebuilt and brought back so you can use those abilities again.
And they're destroyed by your Titans.
Yeah, whenever you fight a Titan, you'll usually end up losing buildings, and we'll get into that in just a second. The next action you have is a recruit action. This is where you go to be able to purchase more military units. Whenever you purchase a military unit, you have to have room for that military unit. Like capacity for your buildings, everybody starts with 2 slots for military units. You can expand those slots where you can have 3 or 4 military slots. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have room to place your newly purchased military card, you have to retire one of your other military cards, which is actually a really cool part of the game. When you retire a military card, you'll take it and flip it over, and that card will still grant you, it'll grant you something. It might grant you a dagger, it might grant you an arrow, it might grant you $1, it might even grant you knowledge. So each unit that retires is still going to contribute to your new army's abilities and strength, which mm-hmm. which is a really cool aspect. So they learn from the previous generations, basically, which is really cool. The next thing you do, let's see, you got the Explore action. This action comes available about 2 rounds into the game. This allows you to take a face-up Empire card and store it for later purchase. This can be a really mean aspect of the game because you can, even if you don't have the money to purchase an Empire card,
or the knowledge,
but you really want it, or you just want to keep your opponent from buying it, you can go to this space, take that card, and store it for a later time. It can really mess over your opponent's plans, and it really frustrates you.
He kind of forgot about that turn.
I forgot about it, and I was really excited to purchase this particular card.
Because he was first player.
And I had it all set up. I went to the spaces, had my knowledge, had my money, and she took the card and stored it, and got under my skin pretty good. But that's one thing you can do with this spot. Or you can draw the top 5 cards and choose one of those to store. And the last action you can do is your grow action, which is where you go to get new workers. You pay $3 and you can gain another worker. One thing with citizens or your workers, you have to keep in mind that you got to be able to feed them. If at any time you can't feed your workers at the end of the round, they have to go into the starvation place. You put them in your starvation area, and at the end of the game, any citizens in your starvation area will be negative 2 points against you. And then that's your main player action with the worker placement aspect. The other thing you can do is you can attack a Titan. When you attack a Titan, there's 3 different levels of Titans, but they each will have a certain strength, and their strength might be 8 and it might have an arrow and a dagger symbol. So that means you need a combination of arrows and daggers that make up 8 or more between your military units and your
some cards give you abilities.
Empire cards and other cards will grant you those abilities. When you fight a Titan, you have to pay money to your military. You'll pay one more coin than the coins that are already currently on your military card. And you'll put it at the top of the card, and at the end of the round, that money pushes down, and then the next turn, that military card is going to cost you more. So at first, it's going to cost you 1 coin to activate each military card. Next round, it's going to cost you 2 for each. Next round, it's going to cost you 3 for each. And it gets to where it can get really expensive to use your military cards. However, one of the actions of hiring new military and retiring the old ones allows you to discard all that money off of it and kind of start over as far as that aspect goes. So anyways, you'll pay your coins on your military units that you want to use, and use any of the other cards that you have that grant you those daggers or arrow symbols. And as long as you can meet the strength of the Titan, you defeat it. You'll take the Titan and you'll put it in your tableau and gain the banners associated with it and any abilities that they give you. But then you also have to roll the Titan dice. For each banner on the Titan that you defeat, you have to roll a dice. There's 3 different things that could happen. You could roll the blank side, which nothing happens, which is good. You could roll the side that has the coin symbol on it, which means you'll get $1, which is also good. But you could also roll the Titan symbol, and for each Titan symbol you roll, you have to destroy one of your Empire buildings. So you got to flip it upside down, and you don't get to use that ability anymore.
And that's why I have to go to the rebuild phase.
Yeah, and that's where the rebuild part of the game comes in. So fighting the Titans can be really rewarding because you can get multiple banners, especially the level 3 Titans. They have 3 different colors of banners on there. So you can really stockpile the banner collection fighting those Titans. But, if you attack a Titan that has 3 banners, you got to roll those dice. You got to roll 3 of those Titan dice, and you could end up losing 3 buildings right off the bat. So that's a pretty cool aspect of the game. It's a little bit of a twist to the worker placement, aspect of the game. But that is the last thing you can do on your turn is you can pass. Once everybody passes, the game goes to the end of round phases where you collect money, you collect knowledge, granted by your cards that you've purchased. You also you take your citizens back off the board. You check for starvation, and then you go to the next round. And you keep doing this until 6 rounds are up, and then you add up all your banner points and any bonuses you get from the other cards, and whoever has the most points wins the game.
So for the artworks and components, I really like the artwork. It's nice and it kind of looks like a painting. It's really pretty soft pale colors, but it's all like the ancient type theme. So I like that type of stuff. So I picked out this game because it was kind of up my alley. I also really like the symbols. The symbols are really easy to understand once you know what each one means. And it's just really easy to pick which cards you want and where to go. And I really like worker placement, so I do enjoy this, and I really like the twist part about it.
Yeah, the artwork for me is at first when I first seen it, I was kind of but after playing the game and just looking at it more, I really, really like the artwork. It's very it's just got that really good painting look to it. It's kind of mystical. It's definitely got that mythological theme comes through in the artwork. The Titans look really cool. The board is really beautiful to look at. Sometimes when you play some of these games, the board is kind of dark or it's kind of drab. This one's really bright and vibrant and just looks really good. The symbology, or all the symbols, are really easy to read. The layout of the cards is really simple to understand. You know exactly what banners are on the cards that you're collecting. You can quickly glance at your tableau that you're building and see that you have 4 red banners or 3 green banners, or it's easy to see and read and understand everything that's going on with the cards.
I do wish the cards were a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
So they feel a little bit flimsy, but
Yeah.
that's like the only complaint I would have.
Yeah, the cards are pretty thin. The board is also, kind of a thin board. The components, though, like the chits, the knowledge tokens, the coin tokens are good quality. The people, the worker people are, they're just little cardboard workers, which, I kind of prefer to put a wooden piece out there, but it makes sense, though, with the number that's on there. It works fine for what it is. But yeah, the game looks great. And the insert is, I don't like the insert, it's crap, but it's just your basic,
It's your standard.
flimsy cardboard insert that doesn't really fit anything right. But
it did come with plastic bags, though, so I do like
Yes.
that games that come with plastic bags.
I love
That's
games
a
that come
bonus.
with bags. So that part's great. So that's the artwork and components. All right, so what did you think about the game?
I really enjoy it. I'm kind of glad that it turned out great because it was my pick and I didn't know anything about it, but I think I did a great job. And it was really fun. I would play it a lot more. I like it. I'm not much of a fighter type person, but the Titans and everything wasn't horrible, and I did like it. So I think it's up there.
Yeah, for me the game is it's a good game. I wouldn't call it one of the best worker placements that I've played. It's easy to play, though. It's straightforward. It's there's not a lot of confusing things. It's a very clean game, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The fighting, it doesn't really feel like fighting, though. The combat's really not combat. It's, do I have enough of these symbols to match the symbols on the Titan card? There's not any, rolling dice or combat, really. So it's not really fighting.
Your style.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not really combat. For that part, it's that the fighting is whatever. To me, the game really just comes down to I got to collect these different colors, and I need to collect as many colors as I can. So I like the game. I don't think it's fantastic, but it's definitely not a bad game. I kind of get the feeling it's a solid average game. That's how I would describe it. It's easy to play. It's a good game, but
you're not much of a worker placement fan, though. I love worker placements.
Yeah.
But he always beats me in the worker placements, but it's my favorite. And I beat him on the really hard battle ones, and they're not my favorite.
Yeah. With the worker, I don't know. I guess
maybe I like it just because of the theme, but I think I like this better than Stone Age.
I would say I like it better than Stone Age just because it's a little bit more. I don't like all the symbols in Stone Age, and you really have no idea where you are point wise in Stone Age. This one you have a pretty dang good idea where you are with your points throughout the entire game. So it's got a very logical layout to the game, which is good, but it almost there's definitely a lot of choices to make in the game, but it's almost too straightforward for me.
Well, it's not. It's just kind of more of a relaxing game.
Yeah.
It's to play to relax. It's not like a brain burner.
No, it's not. It's not a brain burner. It's straightforward. It's almost too straightforward for me, though, because I like how simple it is. I love Zulkin, but it's a little overwhelming sometimes. See, and Zulkin's a game I really enjoy a lot.
And I do too, but there's times that I have to really be in the mood because my brain will hurt. And so this one, it's a nice, relaxing, and it has everything I like. So yeah. I do like this one. So
final thoughts. What's your final opinion?
I like it. I don't know what to feel about it.
Okay, for me it's a good game. It's easy to play. I would play it, but there's other ones I would rather play over it.
Good to know.
Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel. Leave us some comments. What do you think about the game? What has been your experience with it?
And what are other games that you've played that kind of has the same mechanics and themes that you would suggest?
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Genre. And Crying Kid.